What's good, little munchkins?
I'm back again with the story time, and this time we are talking about the time I committed vandalism. And you all know me, So this was when I was in third or fourth grade. I don't remember properly. So I was just chilling, vibing, and then it was break period that time. And I had this really sweet teacher, and she was a really tall woman and also a really humble person. And she rarely ever got mad at me or any other student. And for me to tell you the story, I need to introduce you to two people. One of them is this girl in my class. Let's call her the eighth dwarf. Okay, the eighth dwarf. And the other person, let's call him Musketeer. So Musketeer was this little thief in our classroom. He used to steal our food, our stationery, our book. Basically, he stole everything he wanted. And the other person, the eighth dwarf, see, the eighth dwarf was a nerd and also really short. And I'm out there in break period chilling, and this woman suddenly comes up to me and she convinced me to do the most mischievous thing I have ever done in my entire life. Came up to me, sat beside me. This woman never used to talk to anyone. Well, I don't know about anyone, but never used to talk to me especially, because there's this other incident which happened, and I'll tell you about it later. That's a whole different thing. But basically, she never used to talk to me that much. But she came and sat beside me, and she started talking business. She looked me straight in the eye and told me to take Musketeer's pen and throw it outside the window. And I did not deny. I was hypnotized by this woman. And Musketeer went to the washroom, and all our other classmates were busy doing their own thing. And we took Musketeer's pen and made our way across to the window. And this woman was standing right beside me, and she was whispering in my ear. She was like, "Come on, throw it, throw it, throw it, do it." I could see the evilness in her eyes. And I take that pen out of my pocket and swing it outside the window, and the pen falls down. And as the pen dropped on the floor, I look to my right and I see this woman laughing like an evil witch. And I was concerned at first. I was a bit scared. Then I don't know what got into me. I started laughing along with her. We were so satisfied after throwing Musketeer's pen because he used to steal our stuff and break our stuff. So then I went back and sat on my table, but this woman was not done. She came up to me again and she was like, "Now throw his bottle out the window." I didn't throw out his entire bottle, but I took out the cap of his bottle and I threw it outside the window. And then after that, we went and sat in our places, and Musketeer came into the classroom. And the next class started, and he was about to take notes when he realized he doesn't have a pen to write. And remember the teacher I talked about? It was that teacher's class. Let's call her Miss Matthews. So it was Miss Matthews' period, Miss Matthews' class, and Musketeer was out there trying to find his pen, and then he stands up and goes to Miss Matthew and tells her that he lost his pens. And then someone in our class, I don't remember who, stands up and tells Miss Matthew that it was me and the eighth dwarf who threw the pens out of the window. And me and the eighth dwarf got up and we pretended like we didn't know anything. We were following the DORE route, and Miss Matthew made us stand the entire class, but we still didn't speak up. And she had to go to her other class. So she took us with her to the other class, and she told us that she wouldn't leave us until we accepted that it was us who threw the pens out. And Miss Matthews was disappointed. She was not angry, but she was disappointed. And she took us to her other class, and then she told us to tell her the truth and that she would check the CCTV camera after school. And right after Miss Matthew said that, the eighth dwarf accepted that it was her fault, and she said, "Yes, we did it. We threw the pens out." And that was the moment I tasted betrayal for the first time. And right as she said that, Musketeer walks into the class which we were in, and then he says, "Miss Matthews, I can't find the lid of my bottle." And then Miss Matthews turns her head and looks at me dead in the eye. And now I know she's not disappointed no more. She is angry. And then she sent the eighth dwarf back to her class because she was honest. And as the eighth dwarf left the class, I was looking at her, staring into her soul, letting her know that she's dead after this. And then the rest of the day, Miss Matthews took me along with her to all her classes. Miss Matthews is a really humble person, but when she's angry, she is the devil. She gave me one final chance to come clean. She said, "You listen to me real well. Now I'm gonna let you go if you're honest with me, if you accept your mistake. Or else I'm gonna go down there, check the footage of the CCTV camera, and I'm gonna make sure you get punished." And I was sweating. I was so scared. And at that moment, I could not think of anything. And I came clean. I shouted, "Yes, I did it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Miss Matthews. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm not gonna do it again. I'll stay late. I'll stay late. I will buy him his pens. I'll buy him a new water bottle. But I will never do it again. Please, I swear to God, please do not hurt me." And then Miss Matthews was like, "Okay, you're good to go. Go ahead, go home, kid." And then she bought Musketeers, new pens, and a new bottle. And then she told me never to repeat that again. And she was all good. And then there were no consequences, which there should have been consequences, but Miss Matthews was a really humble person and she let that slide. And Musketeer left school after that year. And the eighth dwarf right now is my best friend. Believe it or not, she is. She's my homegirl. She's my sister from another mother. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. That's it for the story. And don't forget to drink milk, don't do drugs, eat your pills. Bye bye.